Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another Rambling About, this being where I just kind of talk about life and me and just ramble about different topics and stuff. And this is kind of, I guess, a pseudo life update because it kind of covers some of the stuff I brought up in previous Rambling About. But obviously, well, let me start off with there. Like, I recently had this conversation with a friend where I'm kind of pseudo trying to rebuild my social life. I've always been a very introverted person, and that's always been a thing in my life. There was like this small window in my life where I was kind of a little more outgoing, a little extroverted. Not to a great degree, but a lot more than I had up to that point in life. And then I've talked about it previously where there was a point in time where I just like heavily regressed. I'm pretty sure I talked about that last time, like how my aunt, like, I always distinctly remember my aunt being like, "Oh, you were so outgoing for a little while, Michael," because I was spent so much time not being outgoing that when I was outgoing, it was very noticeable, and when I ended up regressing, ended up being like extra noticeable. But like I said, I regressed at a certain point, and then just ever since then I've heavily regressed because I've just kind of had like next to no social life, because like I kind of sadly did this situation where I ended up cutting out a lot of people. I'm not even cutting people out of my life necessarily. It's more like I just kind of like distance myself from people. I can't tell you why. It's just where I was in my life over the past few years, and I just had so many regrets about like not reaching out. I talked about it previously with like friends from high school. Like I had a good circle of friends, but I just never kept in touch with people. And then even people like I met like over the past like couple years ago and were friends with, it's almost like this weird thing of like almost like, oh, you're gonna up and leave me anyway, so I'd rather kind of cut people out of my life before they cut me out. Like there's something there, I think. Sometimes I talked about it previously where I kind of did that in a relationship, and the girlfriend at the time was like, "Why are you writing poems about us breaking up? I'm not just gonna leave you." Yes, we ended up breaking up either way, but it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy type of thing. But it's just, I think I just isolated myself from the world, and I have tried to like bring myself out of that spiral, but it's so hard because I've spent so many years like wallowing in that like isolation. Once again, I've always been an introverted person, but like I said, I think it's gotten even worse it's definitely worse now as an adult than it was obviously when I was younger, just because it feels like I'm going it feels like it's even more of a mountain to climb for me at this point in my life. But the reason why I'm kind of like, there's a lot of, like I said, update aspects. Like, the fact is, I did something semi-social recently, and that was I went to my oldest niece's high school graduation. It was actually kind of, you know, I don't really go out that much, but it was kind of a nice kind of family get-together because it was like my entire immediate family. So there's like, what, 8 or 9 of us. It's my dad, my mom, my 2 older sisters, me, all 3 of my nieces, and my nephew. And we actually kind of, well, with the exception of my dad, he was only able to be there for the graduation, but, you know, we ended up going to, like, the Cheesecake Factory afterward and sat down to eat, which is, like, I can't even tell you the last time actually, in general, not even just my family, but in general, the last time I sat down at a restaurant to eat with someone. I want to say maybe a couple years ago I had breakfast with my mom, but that might be about it that I can think of. I'm very much a don't really go out at all type of person. I'm the introvert in my family because my sisters have never had that issue. They were always like oh yeah, friends invite you out, let's do something. That's just never been me. But either way, the reason why I'm kind of using that as an example, even though it wasn't like the biggest social thing, it was still a thing of I went out. Because it was even kind of a thing my dad was kind of asking me for like the past 2 or so weeks. He was like, "Are you going to go to the graduation?" I'm like, I'm not sure. Yeah, sure. And it wasn't until like the day of that my sister was like, "Dad keeps asking, like, are you going to go?" And I was kind of like, I'm going to go. Because I was still even debating not going, but I'm kind of glad I did. It was kind of a nice get together. It was just kind of fun to chill and hang with my family because I don't always hang with my family. I kind of, once again, just kind of keep to myself in that regard. So that was kind of a nice update to my social life. But yeah, I'm making some attempts to, you know, go out there in the world again in a lot of ways. But kind of along that same fashion, talking about my social life, and as I was talking about previously of like rebuilding my social life, it's more like I'm gonna have to start from scratch because I made a video, maybe what's the second Rambling About I did, where I talked about, oh, I'm reaching out to all these old contacts and trying to reach out to people I'd lost touch with. Once again, I'd logged into Facebook for the first time in forever. And I tried reaching out to people, and sadly to no success. To be fair, a lot of people, it's been like a very long time. There was a friend in particular I was trying to reach out to, and it'd been like a decade. And I was just like, it was kind of a bummer because it was like the last time we had talked, she was trying to get in contact with me, but I think at that time I had a different phone and a different phone number, and it's just like I didn't check social media that often. So I don't know whether it's just because this was like it was actually what, 12 years ago, because like I saw this message from like 2012 and she was like, oh, I was trying to text you, but it's like, I think that was in that dark period of time where it's just like I was definitely kind of like cutting myself off from a lot of people at the time. Once again, it's not like she did anything. I think we're in a good place. I was just wallowing in my like, oh, I was hurt and I was just going through stuff. Like 2012 to 2014, I feel like I was in this pocket of, yeah, just like regressing heavily, specifically 2014, because I talked about it previously. That's kind of the year I had like a really, really bad day. Just reached out to people, and obviously a lot of numbers are owed, and I kind of don't have the means to reach out to some of these people. So it is that thing of, oh, I wish I could just kind of, you know, it's been so long, so it's like how many people really remember, but it's still the thing of, I wanted to kind of reach out and just not, it's weird to say mend fences, considering like I don't think we ended up on bad terms. It's just I didn't keep in touch with people like I wish I had. That's kind of been my biggest regret in life. It's just like, man, I let so much stuff slip away, not realizing, you know, because once again, we're talking about stuff from like my early 20s versus me now at 31, where I'm just like, man, I wish I had done things differently. You know, I wish I had, you know, because my social life would not be in this disastrous situation that it is right now if I probably, you know, because also I wouldn't be the as awkward as a human being. I think I've gotten better over the past few years, but I wouldn't be nearly the awkward human being when it comes to social interaction if I just kind of made more of attempts to keep up with that social life. Would have had a lot more practice, but once again, I isolated and turned inwards in a lot of ways. So it is a situation where I feel like it's probably going to be a thing of, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to start a lot of my social life back from scratch and just kind of go out and meet people, which is hard considering I'm not the go out type of person. I'm not the bar person because I don't really like drinking alcohol. I'm not the social gathering person because I get weird. I don't like large groups of people. That's just, you know, me. So a lot of that's just like, yeah, stuff I have to kind of like fix and get over, and it's just probably have to meet people, like meet friends of friends type of situation to kind of expand that social circle a little bit type of situation. So, but as I was bringing up before, that dark period in my life, I brought it up previously about trying to get in contact with an ex-girlfriend. I did. I called an ex, and it didn't go the way I thought it would. I guess in general, I'm like, oh, it went bad. Not necessarily on her part. It's just I had it in my head, all this stuff I wanted to say. The moment the thing happened, I was like, ugh, nothing came out. And so, yeah, it didn't go anywhere. And I was kind of like, yeah, that's probably my last attempt. Just because I'm like, I'm bothering someone about something from so many years ago. They're moved on with their life. Just because I'm dealing with my own bullshit right now doesn't mean I need to drag them into it. Because it's like I said, like, this is in particular associated with an ex where it's just like, I wish I was in a very dark place. Like one of the last times we talked, the last time I messaged you, I was like, I wish I could be like, I was in a very, very bad place. I was in a very, very dark place at the time. And I just want to kind of apologize. But then that's where we kind of get into this like complicated nature of things where it's like, is that even like, it's not even about that person anymore. It's not even about that ex anymore. It's just like my own guilt of, it's like I want some kind of closure and I want my ex to tell me it's okay. But it's like, no, that's not on her, that's on me. That's my own bullshit I have to deal with of like this need to like alleviate any guilt I have. It's like, no, like it's a guilt of my own making. She's not making me feel guilty about anything. She never has. It's always just been me. And that's something I have to contend with, you know? And it's so... It's struggling with that because it's like, right, I want to alleviate my guilt, but I'm feeling even more guilty because it's not even about her anymore. It's just about my guilt. Maybe it always was, you know? So I wish, it's just that, it's that element, and this kind of goes into this social life, social circle conversation of, I just wish I could go back and change things, but you can't. And the things are what they are. There's no changing it. So it's just kind of a matter of, I have to accept it and learn to let go. That is my biggest issue, is I cannot let go. I talked about it repeatedly in one of the other previous ones of like, I have a tendency to like to punish myself. I don't like, even for like the smallest things in life, anytime I've ever had a mistake in life, like I always like, my brain kind of has a tendency to like throw it to the forefront just to kind of make me feel bad. It's a weird thing because I think I've used this example before, but it's like, you know, sometimes you'll lie in bed and you'll think about the cringiest thing that you've ever done or happened in your life, and it haunts you. I'm kind of like that. I'm the type of person that's like, I will lie in bed and wake, and my brain will think of, oh, remember that mistake you made? Like, hey, Michael, you remember in 6th grade on the first or second day of school, you didn't treat Jennifer right? In fact, you were kind of a complete and utter asshole to her, and yet you literally apologized to her the next day, and you guys became friends. Everything was cool. Yeah, you were still an asshole for it. It's like, yeah, and that's something from like well over 20 years ago, but it still like flows to the forefront of my mind. It's just one of those base examples I think of from time to time of like, yeah, something from so long ago that is insignificant because I'm not that person anymore. At least I hope I'm not. Either way, that's kind of where my most recent update social life thing wise is. I don't think it's really that interesting or important, but I was just like, kind of talked about it previously, and just kind of wanted to kind of give you some, I guess, slight update where it's just like, hey, like, you know, I'm taking steps, because me in the past probably wouldn't have taken steps. You know, hence why I wallowed in my introvertedness for so long, but I am slowly but surely stepping out there, putting myself out there again. Like I said, trying to build my social life back up, or once again, kind of build it from scratch in a lot of ways. So I don't know, that's kind of all I wanted to ramble about this video. I think I had some other stuff, but that'll probably just be saved for a different video in the future. But either way, that's really all I want to talk about. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good